So I bought my LG OLED C1 TV 2 years ago, almost exactly to the day. And after 2 years, what do I think? Well, I'm actually just going to talk about the remote right now in this video. Being LG's magic remote, it is kind of a product and piece of technology in and of itself. So how is it? Well, it kind of sucks. First off, the navigation buttons are hard to press. I don't really even have to turn the TV on to demonstrate this, since you can see the power button lights up when I press a button. But for up and right on the navigation buttons, it's fine. Just a slight tap and it registers, as you can see and hear. See, those work fine. I'm just barely pressing. But left and down, you can hear the tap, but it's not registering. You have to press significantly harder. In fact, you can hear my whole remote squeaking as I'm gripping it to get it to register. Yeah, now that makes navigation constantly annoying, having to deal with that. And then for the volume buttons, it's pretty much the same thing. Not quite as bad, but you can tell up and down, it's the same thing. We're going to have to press quite a bit harder. Even the power button itself, again, not quite as bad, but you do have to press a little bit harder. The rest of the buttons I don't really use that often, but kind of similar problem where you just have to press a lot harder than expected on most of the buttons. That's oh, and then so the scroll wheel. So the problem I have with the scroll wheel is that it's not really balanced between the click and the scroll. And in this case, actually, the click on this is fine. You don't have to press that hard. But the scroll on it just feels, and I don't know if you can hear, it just feels gritty and not satisfying to use, I guess. It feels like the scroll wheel you would get on like a cheap discount store, off-brand, just really crummy kind of computer mouse. That's kind of what this feels. It's like maybe one step up from that. Now this is a $2,000 TV. These kind of issues are, I mean, completely unacceptable to me. And then of course what everybody probably is curious about is the wand feature. I guess that's what they call it, where you just point at the TV and use it like a magic wand, like a Wii remote. Well, yeah, even that feels, the technology in that feels outdated. I don't really even have to actually demonstrate on TV. It's kind of hard to relate what I'm doing in the remote to what's happening on TV anyway. And you can probably watch other videos on YouTube that'll kind of go more in depth. But the problem I have with that is there aren't many settings for it on the TV, which, I mean, that's a whole nother problem and why I'm just kind of talking about the remote by itself right now, because the TV, I could go on for a half hour, all the problems with the TV in terms of interface and settings and things like that. But yeah, the magic wand feature on this, I was expecting it to feel more like a Wii remote, like a Nintendo Wii, which even that, I mean, you know, the Nintendo Wii came out, what, almost 20 years ago? It doesn't even feel that good. And there, as I said, there's not really many settings to customize how it feels. There's really just a pointer speed setting and pointer size. And the pointer speed is basically the same thing as like your computer mouse speed setting. It's kind of just the sensitivity. but the way it's calibrated is weird and unintuitive, especially if you're not used to it. If you hand the remote to somebody who's not used a remote like this before, they seem really uncomfortable with it, and for good reason, because it is weird. It's basically how it works is every time you activate the magic wand feature, which you can do by either using the scroll wheel or giving it a shake, then the pointer will come up on screen and you can move it around with the remote. It kind of, the pointer will end up on a different place in the screen every time, and then you kind of calibrate it, so to speak, by just moving the pointer to the edge of the screen, either up, down, left or right or whatever, and then you can kind of get the pointer to sort of be where you're actually pointing at, which I can see why they decided to design it that way. It kind of gives you the option of being able to calibrate it on the fly, essentially, so you can kind of hold the remote in any position, whether you're like laying down on your side or sitting up staring straight at the TV. You might be holding your remote in a different way, or not really necessarily want it pointed directly at the TV for whatever reason. So that's kind of a nice feature in a way, but honestly, most of the time I would rather it just kind of act like a laser and just go directly where I'm pointing. And it doesn't work that way, and you can't make it work. It would be nice if there was an option to get it to work one way or the other, or but no, LG really doesn't give you a lot of options on how to customize your TV, unfortunately, and the remote settings are kind of the same problem. So aside from those features, which don't work very well, again, this is a $2,000, or at the time when I bought this TV, $2,000 TV 2 years ago. I think it's still up there in price, between $1,500 and $2,000. And the remote, literally, you can replace for like $30 on Amazon. And it really feels like just a cheap, crappy remote. It's probably the worst remote I've ever used. I mean, even of any universal remote, or even my cheap, my last TV was a Vizio. It was like $400. The remote on that TV felt better than this. The only saving grace that this really has is the wand remote feature, and even that doesn't work well. So yeah, after 2 years, that's what I think of it. Oh, and then not to mention the fact that it's missing a lot of features you would kind of expect in devices today, such as backlighting, and the fact that it is not rechargeable. You do have to use 2 AA batteries, not even AAA batteries. I'm probably not going to be able to get that back on with one hand. Can we do it? No. So, yeah, I think these are the same batteries that I had in here that it came with. So they've lasted a long time. But still, I don't think there's any excuse to not have this be either rechargeable or solar powered, or light powered, I guess. And having a backlight would be really nice. But no, this feels like something straight out of 2010, maybe even earlier. Just really cheap. It doesn't give you an overall very good user experience, which you would really expect to have for, again, a top-of-the-line $2,000 TV. So that's it for the remote. I'll probably do another video on the TV itself, if I can keep it under 10 minutes. Thanks.
And also, I bought a high definition HDMI connector, 4K, 2K, just in case I didn't have enough connection on the back of the TV. But it comes with 4 connections, HDI connections. Let me move this paper out the way. Okay, stop.
Tell you if you get